Akshay Nanavati is a Marine vet who suffered from PTSD after serving in Iraq. He wrote about his struggles in Fearvana, the revolutionary science of how to turn fear into health, wealth, and happiness. And Akshay is here to tell us more about it. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us
Pleasure
this morning.
to be here.
So now tell us about your time in the Marines.
So I spent 7 months, one tour in Iraq, and I was an infantry Marine. So one of my jobs out there was actually to walk out in front of our vehicle convoys and look for improvised explosive devices before they could be blown, before they could blow up our vehicle.
Okay.
Dangerous, as you can imagine.
Yeah, very tense, I'm sure, yeah.
Learn to engage fear out there.
And I can only imagine you saw some major things out there. What helped you with the PTSD?
You know, when I hit a low point, after drinking, we had this 5-day binge drinking session, just downing pints of vodka. And I woke up just thinking to myself that I wanted to take my own life, like there's no point going on. When I hit that low point, I realized something clearly needed to change, and I began researching neuroscience, psychology, spirituality to learn not only how to heal my own brain, but to really figure out what does it take to live a happy and meaningful life. And that led me to this concept of Fearvana, that we ultimately find our bliss by engaging fears to find a meaningful and worthy struggle. And that's what I started doing. I mean, just in the process of writing the book and doing ultra marathons, building a business, all of that. And that got me out of those sort of engaging my demons and finding my bliss and my path out of that.
Yeah, and I understand that the Dalai Lama wrote the foreword of this book. How did that come about?
I was blessed, as you can imagine, with that. So I shot a personal video for him, just telling him my journey, the struggles, how I got out of that, and everything I've done since then. We're giving away all the proceeds of the book to charity, so we're really trying to serve with this book. And eventually, after sort of 4 months of healthy persistence with the office there, I was blessed to receive the foreword, and it was truly incredible.
Yeah, it is amazing. So you say in the book that anyone can turn their fears into health, wealth, and happiness. How do you go about that?
The first thing and the most important thing is reframing how we view fear. I mean, when we say words like fear, stress, anxiety, struggle, we don't think of them as positive words, right? We think they're negative, and that's the problem. Because we think happiness is this thing waiting for us out there. It'll come to us when we get the $1 million, the car, but it won't. It comes to us in the pursuit of struggle. And when we learn to say fear is this good thing, we can then engage it. And that's what I've done. I mean, everything I do today is terrifying, but that's the path to happiness.
Wow, okay. Now, what inspired you to share all of this in a book? Your own struggles?
I think a book is what allows you to sort of expand your message so much further than your reach, right? I mean, a book can go into all corners of the globe, and you can share, you can serve through that message. And that's why I decided to do this. I mean, it took me about 3 years. I must have trashed like hundreds of thousands of words worth of work, and it was brutal, but it became my worthy struggle in service of something greater. Because I think when you also focus on service, it helps you engage your own fears. It helps you face your own demons so you can do something meaningful.
And real quick, you were contemplating taking your own life, and unfortunately it's a major problem here right now, especially with so many young people. If you could give them a little advice real quick on what to do right now if somebody is actually thinking about taking their own life, what would you say to them?
In the lowest of the lowest moments, it's hard. The biggest thing you can do is get outside support. You get some support from people around you to kind of get out from point 0 to just to get to point 2, point 3. Once you get to that point, then you can start finding a way out to get to sort of, step 4 or 5 and that kind of thing. But outside support is invaluable, especially initially when you're at your lowest, lowest moment. So whether it be suicide lines, get friends, family, anything to guide you out. I had my wife, I had people around me to help me out, my fellow veterans, and that got me far enough to when I could say, okay, now what? Now what do I do with this? And channel my demons into something meaningful.
And unfortunately, a lot of other veterans are also dealing with these struggles.
I lost a veteran friend to suicide as well, so I know how bad it can be. But I came to learn through all of this that our demons can be our greatest gifts. I mean, I translated my survivor's guilt into an ally. I lost a friend in the war, and today I have a picture of him up on my wall, and it says, "This should have been you. Earn this life." And now that survivor's guilt is my greatest ally in staying sober and doing something meaningful. So reframing how we view all of these things and making them something useful for us.
Wow, it is powerful.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for your service.
Thank you for having me.
And again, the book is called Fearvana, the revolutionary science of how to turn fear into health, wealth, and happiness. It's available where books are sold, and we will be right back.